optical illusion to a lot of people.
And Willie Mays gave this crowd of 52,751 an unforgettable sight. Wirtz pounds the next pitch over Willie Mays' head, but there goes Willie. And he makes a miraculous catch as he stops a step short of the wall.
And I'm back. Let's cut to the chase. The catch is one of the most famous plays in the history of baseball. It's up there with Babe Ruth's called shot and Bengie Molina's triple to complete the cycle.
To make it 5-4, there goes Bengie again. Now could this be a triple? Come on, you got the cycle, big guy. Get there, he did it.
Look at that big fella hustle. But for sports fans of the digital age, the play's popularity can be a source of contention. There have been some remarkable outfield snags over the years, like Jim Edmonds' sprawling catch in Kauffman Stadium, Gary Matthews Jr.'s acrobatics, or Kevin Pillar scaling the wall like he's on Ninja Warrior. The footage from those plays is readily available. They come from a time when baseball games were broadcast for all to see. But in the 1950s, broadcast baseball was in its infancy, and as a result, this episode of Baseball Bits will be very much a study in what we can unpack from older video footage. Back to my thesis though, the brilliance of those three aforementioned catches is immediate. Even if you aren't a die-hard baseball fan or sports fan, they look impossible. But grainy footage of Willie Mays making a basket catch on the run? We're going to need historical context, reference points, and even a healthy scooping of StatCast data. Only then will we be able to explain one of the most misunderstood plays in all of sports. So let's get to answering the questions plaguing the minds of many. How does the catch stack up in 2019? Does it deserve the praise that has been heaped upon it? I think if you were to ask someone what the greatest catch of 2018 was, there'd be a couple ways of looking at it. I'm partial to this obscene catch by Billy Hamilton against the Pirates. The amount of ground covered in the dive are just terrific. Francisco Cervelli, the hitter who struck the ball, was impressed as well. But it's just from the first inning of a June regular season game between two teams that didn't come particularly close to a playoff berth. Let's ramp up the stakes. You'll probably recognize this play. Benintendi sells out with the bases loaded to win Game 4 of the ALCS. If the ball gets past him, the entire series dynamic changes. It's a wonderful play, but is it better than Hamilton's catch in a vacuum? No, of course not. Billy Hamilton is so fast, he might have been able to make this catch on the run, and that's no criticism of Benintendi, who is a great defender in left field. But because of the context in which this play was made, fans will remember the Benintendi catch more fondly. That's why the MLB upload of it has 127,000 views, whereas the Hamilton catch has, yeah, you get my point. So here's your context with Willie Mays. It's Game 1 of the 1954 World Series, with Mays' New York Giants taking on the Cleveland Indians in the Polo Grounds. We're in the top of the 8th with the score tied 2-2, and future Hall of Famer Larry Doby stands on second base as the go-ahead run. At the plate is lefty Vic Wirtz, who's already hit a 2-run triple in the first inning that gave the Indians their only runs. He has also collected 2 more hits on the day, so he's really not the guy you want to be facing with runners in scoring position. He was a pretty well-known player at the time too. Wirtz had a very respectable slash line, racked up 27.4 wins above replacement, and made 4 All-Star games in his 17-year career. And who is Willie Mays in this moment? It seems like a silly question to ask, but he still had a whole career in front of him at this point. He was a 23-year-old say-hey kid who had just come off his breakout season after returning from the Army. The numbers? They'd be right at home on Mike Trout's baseball reference page, that's for sure. It's no wonder that Mays won his first MVP that season. That's part of what makes the timing of this play so special. Think of it as a coming-out party for a legend in the making. So here's the tricky thing with the catch. There's a few grainy camera angles and ways to watch it, but if we're going to make some sense out of this play, we'll have to use every single source available to us. So we have footage A, which I call the wide. Its main feature is a continuous wide-angle shot of Mays chasing down the ball. Then there's footage B, which I downloaded from MLB's YouTube channel. The main difference is we cut to a closer angle at the end. Then there's footage C, much clearer. It's from the National Archives and pieces together a couple shots in rapid succession. I'm going to be studying 3 facets of this catch, and the first is the sprint that Mays makes to the ball. The questions I'm trying to answer are how much ground did he cover, and how much time did it take him? You'd think timing him would be easy, but it's not. Old film footage has a tendency to be played at speeds either a bit too fast or a bit too slow. In footage A, Mays catches the ball 5.83 seconds after it leaves the bat. In footage B, 3.67, and in footage C, 4.57. There's also no angle available that shows the ball both leave Wirtz's bat and end up in Mays' glove. All the video one can find is just bits and pieces of various angles that have been edited together after the fact. That's when I discovered the hunch. No, not a hunch as in a gut feeling, a hunch as in Larry Doby, the base runner, hunched over as he decides whether to tag up at second base or not. This moment of indecision is the key to the whole study. In the National Archives footage, we see Vic Wirtz strike the ball and Doby in the hunch. In the wide-angle upload, we see Doby in the hunch and Mays make the snag. The total time when you combine these two sources, 5.7 seconds. That's how long it took for Mays to become immortal. The distance covered requires a little more guesstimation. We need 2 points, where Mays started his run and where he caught the ball. For the latter, I determined that Mays made the snag right of center, and a couple of strides before the warning track. The Polo Grounds were 483 feet to dead center at that time, but Mays is at this funky wall labeled in this diagram, which I downloaded from Andrew Clem's baseball blog, link in the description, yada yada. So I can place Mays' endpoint pretty confidently around here. But what about his starting point? Every piece of video has Mays already in motion. I did notice, however, that he likely was playing shaded a little bit towards right field, likely due to Wirtz being a left-handed hitter. Outfielders weren't shifting all over the place back then, but it wasn't foreign concept either. I decided I'd look at StatCast positioning data from Baseball Savant, and found that center fielders in Mays' situation, defending against a left-handed hitter with a run in scoring position, stood 318 feet back and 3 degrees to the right on average. But where would Mays stand? That's where we get into a little game theory. The Polo Grounds were so vast that a ball that got over your head was going to be a home run either way. It really wasn't that much different to a regular-sized ballpark. The only difference being that the resulting home run would be an inside the Parker. Then there's Larry Doby on second. If Wirtz hits a single, Mays will want to be playing up to potentially gun down the go-ahead run at home. And then I went to the Willie Mays page on the National Baseball Hall of Fame website and read the 2 most magical words that described Mays' positioning. Playing shallow. So while Starling Marte would play this situation about 318 feet from home plate, we're going to go with the center fielder who likes to play the most shallow, and that's Jake Marisnick at 308 feet. We'll keep the slide angle to the right as well. That gives us approximately 115 feet covered in 5.7 seconds. Would the typical major leaguer be able to make this play today? Thanks to StatCast, we're about to find out.
The one place to book any place.